You think so? Takes a few seconds. Let me hit the button, see if it comes up. Not yet. Got that infamous delay. Here we go. Yes, now it's finally there. Here's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on Newswire, on Facebook, Twitch, and Jesse just can't wait till we get on YouTube. Every day on the cornucopia of news stories that we didn't get to yesterday, and of course we get to them today. John Cox. I guess maybe it's the California bear. Yeah, that's the symbol that's on the California state flag is the bear. We'll have that. Man, the recall campaign is just going to be a blast coming forward on this whole deal. We have some Joe Biden news all across the board. We'll see how much of that we roll into Slow Joe is an entertainment clock in of himself each and every day. On that, be careful of what you wish for. Some of the stuff that's going on, you heard me talk about the GAN spending caps. It's going to be very apropos what is about to happen in the state of California to the likes of teachers who originally got pissed off about it and got them basically gutted. They were never completely eliminated. Democrats have been spending wildly and driving California into the ground since they basically deballed the GAN spending cuts with Prop 111 in 91. Again, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. The walls are falling in on Gavin Newsom. I think on the teachers a lot from this whole year plus of what has been going on. And this has been a contention since I first entered the school system in the mid-60s. These people are nuts. For one thing, they're wasting my time for 8 hours a day because I know more than most of these cluckheads that are sitting in here anyway. On top of that, the school system back then is like 110,000% better than it was or is today. 50 years later, it makes that look like a cakewalk. So we're going to go back and forth. This is absolutely stunning. Mic up, Jesse. Did you find the name of this teacher we're about to allegedly we're about to play on this? Did you find the name of this chick who's featured in a Bill Malusian video coming up? And she reported herself as a school teacher in L.A. Do you have the name of that? Oh, she's looking for it now. This was a stunning video. I ran across, man, if we'd have had this yesterday, we'd have played it yesterday, but I ran across it right after the show on that. Bill Malusian, and it's great that he's no longer working for Fox 11, the local affiliate. He's working for Fox National, but he's still based in L.A. So we're still going to get the benefit of his reports coming in every day. He got a hold of a video. I don't know how he did this. But a L.A. County Sheriff's deputy makes a traffic stop. Mind you, there's no routine traffic stops, and this little video will tell you why. Makes a traffic stop. It appears from the video he's observing somebody talking on their cell phone while driving, which is a big no-no for a lot of reasons. You're not only endangering yourself, you're endangering anyone that's coming in contact with you on top of that. So the officer decides he's going to pull the lady who's driving the car, operating a cell phone, which is illegal in the state of California. Holding it, I think, is that. I think you can talk on them if you're going through your Bluetooth. They're hands-free is what it is.
I got her name.
You got her name. What's her name? Pull up the mic. Give us the name of the person that's going to come up, or what everybody's saying. What's being reported is the name of this individual who's we're about to play the video of.
Yeah, let's see. Her name is Kalunda Ray Iwamizu.
I could have guessed this. Read that again. I would never be able to say this.
I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's Kalunda Ray Iwamizu.
I'm going to spit my coffee. Kamunda Ray Imanizio.
I don't want to butcher her name.
Oh yes, go ahead. She deserves her name to be butchered.
Yeah, no, that was it.
So here's the traffic stop as posted by Bill Malusian, Fox video reporter. Here we go.
Harassed today because I was going under the speed limit. I was going at 38.
Yes, you are, ma'am. Good morning.
And the speed limit is 40, and I was going 38, so why are you harassing
You're
me?
correct. I pulled you over
Because you're a murderer.
Because
yes, I started to record because you're a murderer.
You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving.
I wasn't on my phone. I was recording you because you scared me.
You can't use your cell phone while you're recording.
I can record you.
May I have your driver's license?
It's at my apartment.
What's your apartment?
It's at my home. I'm just taking my son to his.
Do you have your driver's license?
I mistakenly left it at home.
Do you have a picture of your driver's license?
Yes, I do.
May I have it?
And can you call your supervisor, please? Because
I already did. He's on his way.
Good, because you're a murderer.
Okay.
And so you're giving me a cell phone ticket? Is that why you're harassing me?
Not harassment.
Yeah.
I am enforcing the law.
I have a right to record the police when they're harassing me.
By all means, but you can't do it while you're driving.
I wasn't texting or none of that.
Do you have that
you
picture?
scared me and made me think you were going to murder me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, that's not just a feeling, you're a murderer.
Okay. Can you zoom in on that for me,
Sure.
Jay? Thank you.
And I'm perfectly legal, and I'm a teacher. So there.
Congratulations.
Murderer. You're a murderer.
What's your last name? I can't see that there.
Well, here you go,
Stop
murderer.
shaking. Zoom in on that for me,
No,
ma'am.
because you're scaring me.
Oh,
You're threatening to kill me and my son. Can you give me
Okay.
the
Well,
iPad,
I'll
please?
tell you what. You keep smiling. You're on camera.
You're trying to threaten to kill me.
I
I'm not
didn't say that.
smiling. You're the one who's crazy.
Hold that still. I can't see that. Is this your car?
Yes, it is. And you're trying to say I stole my own car because you're jealous?
Yeah,
Is that what
I don't
that's
think
about?
so. You wait for me right here, okay?
You're jealous?
Citation. All you need to do is your signature. He's only citing you for using your cell phone while you're driving. That's it.
Here you go, ma'am. Sign inside the red box right there.
For him being a Mexican racist. What is that name? Gasso?
It's on the citation, ma'am.
Here you go, Mexican racist. You're always going to be a Mexican. You'll never be white. You know that, right? You'll never be white, which is what you really want to be.
There you
want
go,
to be
dear.
white.
Have a good day.
You want to be white so bad.
That is so stunning. It's almost beyond compare. What's her name again, Jesse? Read that. I was writing all this down of that.
Yeah, no, her name is Kalunda Ray Iwamizu.
Kalunda Ray Imuziu. That's close enough. I counted 6 times. She said the officer was a murderer for pulling, was attempting, twice was threatening to kill her. On top of that, she didn't have a driver's license with her, which is a violation of California Vehicle Code, probably something or other, yada, 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 look it up. She said, "You're pulling me over for using my cell." I wasn't texting her, so, well, what are you holding it for? You were not supposed to be touching the cell phone while you were driving in the state of California. So if you are doing that, the police officer, Deputy Sheriff, LA County Deputy Sheriff in this case, has probable cause to pull your Rosie Redbutt over. Then she plays the "I'm a teacher" card. Oh, this is a big shock right here. Oh, I'm a teacher? I would have never guessed. Our oh, my teachers are so great. They all do wonderful stuff. Da, 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 da. How many times have we heard that? How many times have you heard people castigating Roy for bringing this out? And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm probably being kind. 90% of them would not have a job if it wasn't for a government job, because we have to give them something to do, else they would be homeless on the street and we'd have them on the welfare rolls. So she continues this racist rant. Then she calls the cop out. Says, "Are you jealous?" Because what? She's driving a Benz, or looks like a Beamer, looks like a Benz. Because LA County teachers, if she's in LAUSD, which is where this happened, make over $100,000 per year for 9 months of work. Prorated, that's $125, and climbing because of the COVID. That's how your incompetent butt, Kalunda, or whatever the hell, Kalunda Ray, or whatever your name is able to drive around in there. On top of that, you called the cop Mexican, racist, you'll never be white, yada, yada, yada. Now, I want all of you woke, Black Lives Matter supporting, marching yahoos, supporters, dingbats that have been commenting on my side all the time, calling me racist and everything else. I want you to see who the real racists are, and you supporting these same people that are coming out. Those that are shouting racist are the real racists in the world. Hands everybody else is cleaner than a whistle. And this is designed to take you down and put you in your place. We are king, like if you're head of USC, I hope she's a UTLA member, because your racist leader, whatever her name, Cicely Meyer Cruz, who's been calling parents racist for wanting their kids back in class, which you, teachers, are hijacking the system, making more money for less work, for a worse education of our kids. You've been doing it for 30 years in California. It's about time you stopped. It's about time we got rid of them all, fire them all, and let's start over again. I think we have a caller on the line. Who we got?
Hey, Roy, it's Dwayne. How you doing?
Absolutely fantastic until I saw this video.
I am absolutely almost speechless. I could not believe this. And this is what passes for, and I'm not going to even call it a teacher. I'm going to call it an overpriced babysitter, because they're sure as hell not an educator in any school system I ever knew.
I just want to stop you for a minute. All the time I was
Sure.
going to school, I said this is a 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock halfway house where you're in jail 5 days a week. I mean, I swore the clock, the seconds moved like minutes, the minutes moved like hours, and the hours like days when I was sitting there. I could not wait for that bell to ring to get out of the torture of that. And as I said in the beginning, that's when it was about 100 times better than this. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, no, I was exactly the same way. School bored me to tears because they had to preach to the lowest common denominator in the class. They, even back then, and I had a slightly different education than some people. Nonetheless, you look at public education, and you just, especially today, I cannot even put it in context to my youth because it's not even on the same planet. I knew people that were contemporaries of myself that were going through public education that had a fairly good grasp of the language and could at least articulate a position. The only thing you saw articulated here by this woman was hateful nonsense. And she has this condescending, I'm better than you are because I'm driving a more expensive car routine. And we don't know what this cop drives because, by the way, LAPD officers, I think, make more than teachers do. Now, obviously, their job is more perilous, and they have a lot more to worry about than.
Actually, I would almost be. I would bet prorated on an hourly basis. I would bet California teachers are making more than the average cop. But go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to take that bet. That's for damn sure. Because I'm thinking that, if we actually, penned it out, it'd be pretty damn close. And, we're parsing hairs at that point. So I just don't understand why in society people like that feel entitled to insult cops and to attempt to antagonize them. These are people that have never had to hire a lawyer to get themselves through the legal system, because if they did, they wouldn't act like that. At least not more than once, unless they're a complete idiot. Or they just like spending their money on lawyers. There are people like that.
Yes, flip up number 4, please. Show. This is Kalunda Ray Unwanzaya or whatever. We have her smiling little face on there. English professor, writer, and editor, Los Angeles Community College District, University of Southern California. She does. Well, she did work there. It's not surprising she worked at the University of Student Criminals of that, which is the acronym, which is one of the acronyms of USC of that. There we go. Well, she isn't a USD member. She's a professor or something. She works at Los Angeles Community College District, which is maybe about 1 centimeter above LAUSD, if this is the person. So, no, you said something of there or that. Okay. Education can fix stupid. How do you fix hate?
You know what? The only thing you can do is set a better example and call people out for this nonsense. I'm also going to take exception. I don't believe there are professorships in community college. I believe that is a title reserved for people that have a master's degree or a doctorate degree.
It could possibly
specifically a
be.
doctorate. But doctorate degrees not being worth the paper they're printed on these days, it really is irrelevant. But nonetheless, I think I'm absolutely appalled. This woman starts off immediately when the cop approaches her and starts calling him a killer and a racist. Now, I thought that we have all been told that only white people can be racists, and I don't understand the whole epithet that all cops are killers. We're rapidly approaching, and you brought this up before about the critical race theory nonsense, and that's what it is. It's absolute balderdash. I cannot believe free-thinking people look at that and go, oh, yeah, all white people are systemically racist. It's in their DNA. Well, I got a hot news flash for these people. We did not round y'all up y'all's people rounded you up and sold them to us. Now, I say us collectively. Nobody, as far as I know, in my family ever owned a slave. And I think our family heritage has been researched pretty far back. So I don't think any of us were slave owners. Therefore, I don't understand the systemic racism thing.
I want to pick up on that. We'll pick up on this, but I held off on this one because I was hoping beyond hope that this was the case. Another one that broke last Friday. Cypress College professor jumped all over a kid for praising the cops. And we got this whole, he was saying cops are heroes, and this adjunct professor, as they're calling her, jumps down this kid's throat. Now, I was hoping the teacher was doing this, as teachers will do, and it's a great teaching technique, and some of the few better ones that you have out there will take a position like that or challenge you on that, take an opposite position or a screwball position just to make the argument to see how you'll react or how you will react.
Right, that's a tool to teach critical thinking.
So this is the video that went nuts over that, and now this professor is on permanent leave or is leaving of this. Here's the video clip on that from the professor, and we need to find her name too. See if you can find the Cypress College professor's name that's in this, Jesse, of that. The 19-year-old kid's doing this at the college doing this, and he says cops are heroes, and this is what this nutcase says.
The police in your speech a few times. So what is your main concern? Since, honestly, the whole reason police, it is systemic. The issue is systemic because the whole reason we have police departments in the first place, where did it stem from? What's our history? Going back to what Jeremy was talking about, what does it stem from? It stems from people in the South wanting to capture runaway slaves.
Maybe they shouldn't be heroes. Maybe they don't belong on a kid's show.
So I disagree with what Jeremy said about it because I think cops are heroes and they have to have a difficult job, but we have to have that
all of them?
life. Oh, I'd say a good majority of them. You have bad people in every business and every part.
Yeah,
well, wait.
Police officers have committed atrocious crimes and have gotten away with it and have never been convicted of any of it. And I say this as a person who has family members who are police officers.
Yes, I understand. And this is what I believe. This is my opinion. And this is, not popular to say, but I do support our police, and we have bad people, and the people that do bad things should be brought to justice. I agree with that. But I think that, say it again.
They haven't.
Well, I agree with you on that point of they should, right?
Okay, so what is your bottom line point? You're saying police officers should be revered, viewed as heroes? They belong on TV shows with children?
I think they are heroes in a sense because they come to your need and they come and help you, and they have a problem just like every other business, but we should fix that. But I think they're heroes. Well,
I think that's the problem. It's looking at it as a business because they're actually supposed to protect and serve the people.
They do protect us. What do we call when we're in trouble and someone has a knife or a gun?
I wouldn't call the police.
Why wouldn't you call the police?
I don't trust them. My life's in more danger.
Who would you call?
In their presence.
Professor, who would you call?
I wouldn't call anybody.
Well, would you have? If someone intruded your house with a gun, would you have a gun on you, or
no.
Who would you call?
It's my time to go.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
If someone already in your house with a gun, there's not much you can do at that point. Calling the police is kind of just,
And I know that it's not popular for me to say that to you guys and people in here, but that's what I believe about the police.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for listening to my point. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I will say, I'm glad you did say that, even if I disagree with you. It's important.
And we should fight for the right for people to say things that we don't even like, right?
I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight for your right to say it.
Amen, brother.
Within some extent, I'll say.
Okay, folks, we are.
There you go. So there's the whole thing. Right off the get-go, police departments were created in the South and capture runaway slaves. That's what she first started out with on this whole thing, and then it just went completely downhill from there. We only got a couple minutes left, and we'll hold this over on the other side. But I will tell you this. I mean, this kid was, I would tell you this. I don't care if I was in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, and you can go back and ask my teachers on this. It would, if one of my teachers in grade school would have come up with this, it would have been game on. 100%. We wouldn't have stopped with this. I mean, next stop I would have made was down to the principal's office in grade school, Pat Crone, and I'd see, you know what the nutcase teacher just said of this, on that? I mean, this was absolutely off the barrel, but it goes back to, I want to tie it to the cop deal when we come back. You wonder why Kalunda Ray, or whatever the hell her name is jumping all over the cop when he stops her for doing his job and giving her a citation and hopefully a fine and a warning of not to do that. You know you're endangering other people's lives when you're looking at that 3x5 screen instead of driving that whatever $100,000 killer machine that you're driving that is just as dangerous as a gun. The one this other nutcase said she would not call the cops. I want to see the time somebody assaults that Nuskate professor or she meets law enforcement. I want to see her not call the cops or that. Or if somebody's coming in to rape her, what is she going to do? Bend over and grab her ankles? Because if she's calling the cops, if she has no defense, that must be the best thing you can do, lady, because you know what's coming next. I mean, the idiocracy of what's going on here is absolutely stunning. I mean, but between the two. I mean, and like I said, I didn't even play I didn't play it Monday. I said, you know, I'm hoping this professor
30 seconds.
Started this. I really think I was hoping she was actually somewhat of a professor and was just using this as an example and really didn't mean that. Well, that doesn't appear to be the case, just like Kalunda Ray. We'll be back with Dwayne, and when we come back on the flip side of this on KMET.
Here we go, 10 seconds. SupplyKing.com.
OEM Supply King. We got it!
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
So I get our music that comes on every Monday through Friday at 5:30 on the Mighty Red, 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and that aforementioned AM band, joining our vast video audience on IE Newswire on Facebook, Twitch, and Jesse can't wait for me to say YouTube on that, going back and forth on that. We haven't even gotten to some of the other fun stuff that we had on all that. Gavin Newsom, you know what, the GAN spending tax are going to come back to haunt you and these teachers that tried to eliminate it. You didn't eliminate it, but you gutted it. It's going to come back and backfire on you with all this COVID stuff. I mean, that John Cox and his bear deal on that. But the stunning story of the day was Bill Maloogian, the Fox, well, he was with Fox 11, now he's with Fox National, but he's still in L.A., a police officer, L.A. sheriff's deputy, pulls over a woman who's driving with her cell phone in her hand, which is a violation of California Vehicle Code, whatever section, yada, yada, yada. So I don't know if he was on a bike or a car, so he flips on the old red light. And this racist nut, who purports to be an LA teacher. We're looking into it, and if this is a teacher, everybody's in out, or she's a teacher in LA Community College. Rips on this guy, says use the word murder 6 times, you're trying to kill me. Then the cop, which I hate these terms, but he appears to be Mexican, Latino, or whatever, starts calling him racist, that you'll never be white, on and on and on. On top of that, we the professor that was rolling the cops and the kid who stood at least halfway stood up to her, or at least made his opinion that, and the angry professor couldn't take it, and now she quit. So there went my theory, or my hope, not my theory, my hope, that the first professor was just using this as an example and did that. But it didn't appear that way from the way she ended the video. But I was trying to think of the positive light of this, and hoping beyond hope that there was a positive ray of hope somewhere in our education system. Well, they just blew that theory right out of the water with these two on that. I hope, well, she could pay the fine. I hope this lady goes to court. And if she thinks this cop was trying to kill her, was a racist, and you never be white, I challenge Kalunda Ray. Take this case to court. Go to court and put this in front of the judge. Run your little cell phone video in front of the judge of what you did. And then tell them why you should have not been written a ticket, an infraction fine for driving while a motor vehicle while operating a cell phone at the simultaneous time, which is against the law in California. Why? Because you are driving a killing machine. Whatever it is, $50,000, $100,000 Mercedes Benz that you're driving, could ultimately kill somebody, and especially if you're not paying attention to the job at hand when you put your key in the ignition, hit the throttle, and drive that car. You were supposed to be paying attention to driving that car and getting from A to B safely. Operating a cell phone is not. But the racist rant and everything that comes on of this, and the slavery and the whole enchilada that's going on in our education system, was summed up in these 2 videos. And we got another one to play, but Dwayne, our longtime caller, is on. And commented on that. What's your thoughts after all this going on? And I know I had to end it because we're transitioning over, but pick it up. What do you think, Dwayne?
Well, I'll comment on the professor, the last video that you played. Right. It seems to me, I think we've overlooked something. I think what it is systemic stupidity. I don't think that it is, systemic racism. I think it's systemic ignorance. And just absolute nonsensical, whimsical folly. These people it's like we're dealing with a 3-year-old. I want a cookie. No, you can't have a cookie. You're going to eat dinner. I want a cookie. And you tell the kid no. And so what it does, it pouts and slams its feet into the floor. I mean, to me, we are giving in to these morons. And this Kalunda Ray Wamizu or whatever, I think it's a Wamizu. I'm looking at the video. It says that she's an LA community college professor. Now, to be a professor, you have to have a doctorate. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a doctorate, but I think if you have a doctorate, you're going to be teaching at a university, not the community college, which is where most of your high school teachers go to make some extra pay. I have a friend that works at Colton and works on and off for San Bernardino Valley College, so I know whence I speak. However, these people, this is what passes for an educator.
Yes, this is what the problem is on this. This is what our education system is, and this is what's being taught in the schools. How many times do you have to hear this stuff going on that? And they've been hijacking us. We played Dr. Spiegel yesterday on his math stuff with Dr. Kelly, but the first part of this on Fox News that was coming on, this is how, you know what? See, teachers not only are hijacking us, and we'll do this later on in that with the teachers unions coming up of how they're doing it in Chicago on that. Teachers unions are using their teachers through their unions are using their political influence to influence the CDC guidelines so they don't have to sit back in class. Here's Dr. Spiegel on Fox News. Here we go.
Listen at NYU Langone Medical Center. Are you shocked, or maybe you're not shocked, about a teachers union being able to influence CDC communication?
I'm not surprised. We've seen this for months now. The American Federation of Teachers have been involved, saying teachers don't feel safe. Then, if you recall, Jen Psaki changed what Dr. Walensky said and said, well, because Dr. Walensky said they don't need to be vaccinated, and then suddenly the press secretary was saying they don't listen necessarily to the CDC director. All this has been going on.
So I want to stop right there. All you folks that are out there with the vaccinations and the whole enchilada and this and good science and and you're going to kill us all if you don't get vaccinated or you don't wear your mask or that's about what you sound like. Because you know who's making the rules? It ain't the scientists. It's not the experts, it's the teachers that are making these stupid rules because they don't want to go back to work because they're living large off of this whole thing, and it'll upset their apple cart if they're doing that. Now, I'm sure Dr. Spiegel, because he's probably a lot smarter than I am, won't say this, but I'm saying it, I've been saying it, and we'll continue to say it because we will be bringing out the evidence more and more that this is the case. Dwayne.
I couldn't agree more. I think that, I go back to my own experience in high school, and we saw some of the initial inklings of this stuff even back then. And it was actually, to me, I think it began as a result of affirmative action. Affirmative action was put into place so that poor people, underqualified or unqualified, could make the same amount of money as somebody who had worked and became qualified for a job because it was supposedly fair. Well, it was the most unfair thing we could do for everyone because what it did is it said, you're too stupid to become as good as this person next to you, so we have to give you this job or give you this money. And from that, we have the logical conclusion, which is what we have now, which is you have to pay us money to stay at home because we're feared of getting a virus that doesn't do anything to you. 98% of the people don't even have any effects from the damn thing. And now it's coming out, as we're seeing, more people are getting reactions to the various vaccines. But that's another
I just want to hit you on this because we're, this, and you heard the doctor mention American Teachers Federation, the other evil ATF.
Yes.
7 million members. AFL-CIO, we have told you, under Joe Biden's watch as senator, vice president, now president. Private sector union of the labor workforce went from 25 to 6% today. That's a 400% decrease over we are going the union label. What has happened is the public employee unions, which teachers belong to, like ATF, NEA, California Teachers Association, Moreno Valley Educator Association, all these in-betweens, on top of the political contributions. They are now a big... Public sector unions are more of the labor force now in the United States of America than private sector unions. That means all you union carpenters or whatever, or service workers or something, are sucking wind on this whole deal. But this is this. The president, Randy Weingarten, which is a chick, or so looks like, is the president of this. Flip up number 4, please. This is on Fox News. Teachers Union President Weingarten ignites anti-Semitism claims after comments on Jewish union critics. American Federation Teachers President Randy Weingarten balked at Jewish criticism of unions. Furthermore, here we go with the race card again from the top. Where do you think these teachers get this? This is The systemic racism, again, is those who are shouting it the most. And do you know who's shouting it the loudest? Teachers. Let that sink in. Dwayne.
Well, what we're facing is a situation where these individuals cannot articulate a logical position in opposition to anything that we bring up logically. So what they do, because they're absent, they're completely devoid of any intellect. So what they do as a defensive posture is they accuse somebody of being a racist so that you have to immediately defend yourself and your position rather than speaking from a position of authority or power. And this is what happens. You get this nonsensical BS where people just call you something, and it's a pretty good tactic, I guess, if you're an idiot and you are incapable of critical thinking. But anybody that's capable of critical thinking can blow this out of the water in 2 seconds. But you notice what they do next, and you've seen it time and time again. If you try to have a dialogue with them, they just shout over the top of you, or in the case of that one professor you played, I'm done now, I'm going to leave because I don't want to hear what you have to say.
I've got one more video I want to play. This is from we're going to clear across the coast in North Carolina, along with the Google and things we've had in that, they've done this. This is on America's Voice News. They're talking about this. You think this stuff, it's the systemic racism, critical race theory stuff is going all across the country. Here's America's Voice News on that. Here we go.
Conference on critical race theory. Talk to us about how you're organizing people.
We are indeed. In fact, all across North Carolina. We're operating now in 30 different counties in North Carolina, and we do what's called a parent boot camp training. It's a 2-hour training. We've done 14 of them. We have 40 more on the books where we're taking parents to, and you pointed out, parents who have never been political before. They've never really taken an interest in one side or the other, but they want to know how to fight back and stand up and advocate for their children. Virtually in every county, we have 115 school districts here in North Carolina. We've gotten reports from 92 of them, 92, that teachers and children are being just bombarded with, racially active propaganda.
So there you just heard it from Sloan Rathcom. In North Carolina, 92 out of 115 school districts in North Carolina are being bombarded with this critical race theory, browbeating the kids to doing this. On top of that, this is what's absolutely, it isn't just in California. It isn't in New York City. It is it goes across all that flyover country. It goes across all of it. This is systemic. The systemic racism has been coming from teachers. It's growing, and if you don't stop it, like the folks up in Vail, Arizona, the 100 in that little community up there in Arizona, 100 parents and teachers and students said, enough of this crap. Open up these schools. We're going to school. We're not leaving till we are. You're hearing these reports. Almost every school district in North Carolina is running this crap. It's absolutely ridiculous. You don't think it's in your communities? Your jaw's gonna drop when we drop the documents of what's happening in California schools with this white fragility, critical race theory crap. Trump tried to get rid of it. Y'all that voted Joe Biden, he couldn't wait till after January 20th, 2020 to put this stuff back in your schools. Dwayne.
The larger problem with all of this is it is designed to do precisely what it is accomplishing, which is to get all of us at each other's throats so that we don't start asking the critical question, which is, who is directing all of this nonsense and stirring up this critical race theory and everything, the Antifa crowd and the BLM, because they're well funded. The Antifa has, I believe, the last I heard was some phenomenal thing like $6 million in their legal defense fund. $6 million. Where did they get that money from? It's not from mom and pop. Okay, that's not a $2 donation to a radical group. That is some serious, significant organizational horsepower. When you have a $6 million legal fund, you're intent to changing things. And by hook or crook or force, which is their preferred method, so what do? They move into a place, take advantage of the situation. You saw that one video of that black woman that attacked another black woman with a knife. A cop shot her, and now they want that officer's head because how dare he discharge his firearm and protect somebody from being stabbed? Oh, he's a racist. That is incredibly stupid and disingenuous. It is morally bankrupt and absolutely just nonsensical. So you have these people that are living this communist socialist takeover dream whereby they're going to profit and win because they're going to be on the winning side when they take over and everything becomes communist. Well, they're not students of history because Stalin purged 6 million people. Anybody that didn't agree with him. And that's what you're going to get. These people think they're going to survive the purge. I think on the contrary, what will happen is you'll see, if communism were to take over, you would see a purge that would make that purge look insignificant.
I got this one, and I want to get to this one. This is the last one. I mean, we've done 45 minutes on the teachers. I want to get to this one. We're bringing back the whiteboard again of that. You'll remember this. Out of the Prop 13, well, let's probably have Susan Chile on that. After Prop 13, to protect your property taxes, roll back the ridiculous, they were kicking old folks by the drunions out. They were taxing them out of their homes on property tax. They were skyrocketing. Howard Jarvis, Paul Gann got Prop 13 on. 78, we passed that overwhelmingly. All is well in the world. On top of that, 79, Paul Gann comes out with the Gann spending caps. And Jerry Brown, who was on the wrong side of this, is trying to get right with the people because he wants to run for Senate in 82. So he gets with Paul Gann and says, we're going to pass the Gann spending caps. Which said, any revenue, take 1978, any revenue started with, any revenue that went over population increase and inflation would have to be remanded back to the people. This touched off the second golden era of California. We had the best economy we ever did because taxes, if they were raised, that money went half back to the taxpayers and half back to the schools, mind you. In 1986, in the 87 year, Californians got $1 billion tax refund from the overage of the free market economy allowed to work that benefited. Schools got $1 billion. You know what? Teachers were mad they didn't get the citizens got $1 billion of their own money back, and they only got half of it as $1 billion. In 88, they passed Prop 98, which said 40% had to go to schools. Then in 91, they got that a-hole, John Garamendi, to do Prop 111, which essentially gutted. They didn't eliminate Prop 4, the Gann spending caps, but it basically eliminated them. They almost made them almost useless. They lowered the percentage down. We've never gotten a refund yet. Aha. Be careful what you wish for. You just may get it. Because it's taken us 30 years. This is in KCRA, or in the Fresno Bee on that. Flip up number 4, please. California tax revenue is surging. Will Governor Newsom send some of that back to the taxpayers? With all this tax revenue and tax-rich and capital gains going crazy of that, and they're getting all this revenue, plus all this COVID money and stuff coming in, California is getting so much revenue coming in, even with the gutted Gann spending caps that the Democrats and the teachers got through in 91, they may have to start refunding money back to the California taxpayers per Prop 111 and the Gann spending caps because they're taxing us to death. We're going to get 20% of our money back, but it goes to show you all this raised the tax revenue. They forgot about, even with the gutted spending caps, you still can trigger them with going on, and they're about to do it 30 years later after they killed them. I I almost fell out of my chair when I saw this. This could not. Everything is adding up to recall Gulag Gavin in this. Everything is stacking against them of that. And again, mind you, it's teachers that started this over 30 years ago and killed the once golden state of California on that. If we just stayed with the GAN spending caps, California would probably be buying the United States, China, Russia. We would probably have ruled the world in 30 years had we let it go. Dwayne.
Well, you're not going to get that because these people are absolutely committed to power, absolutely. And they're not going to, the Jarvis Tax Association, they got Prop 13 passed, and that was a great thing for many people.
No, speak on the irony of them raising taxes so high that it's setting the GAN spending caps, and it's actually going to trigger them state constitutionally from Prop 4 to 111. It's actually going to trigger them. They didn't. These brainiacs didn't figure that out. Oh, well, we'll just keep...
You know what they're going to say? What they're going to do is they're going to claim victory and say, see, our model works so well that we're going to give you money back because we took it from the evil rich guy. That's what they keep telling us. I heard that, that blithering idiot that's up there at 1600 Pennsylvania, is the latest thing out of his drooling mouth is that, we're just going to tax the rich guy and make them pay their fair share. You and I have talked about this till we are blue in the face. When you go after corporations, all they do is pass the buck. I am a small business operator.
30 seconds left.
If my costs are raised, I simply raise my expenses to the customer. I do not pay the increased taxes.
Correct. There's no truer statement that's ever been made on this. It's going to be an interesting season. The rest of 21 is going to be very interesting. Don't wait so long to call in Dwayne on that, on this. But we're almost out of time, so I'm going to have to let you go. Thanks for being on.
Take care.
That was Dwayne from Idaho. We had a pretty good conversation there. But, yeah, I think it's absolutely apropos. All of this stuff is, their world is falling in on them. Now is not the time to let up. Like the parents and students in Vail, Arizona, to North Carolina, and everywhere in between. Parents, you should be marching at your schools, cleaning this crap up. You see what's going on. You see what your kids are learning. You're seeing what they're being taught every day with some of the Zoom stuff. It's time you get out, you tell it like it is, unabashed, unafraid, and uncut. Hiding, you are going to become part of the problem now that you know, if you let this stuff go. If you keep on, there's no. It's like the professor, like the student said. Well, what happens if somebody's attacking you? Oh, I'm not going to call a cop. I don't trust them, said the professor. Right. Oh, I don't have a gun either. Well, how are you going to defend yourself, lady? You want your kids to be taught by a bunch of racist, thieving crooks? Then just keep on the path you're going. If you don't want that, you better get off the dime and start correcting this. Like Vail, Arizona, said we're going to recall all these board members. It should be happening in every school district this is going on, and you heard the majority of them are almost everywhere from coast to coast. So parents, get off the dime, help your kids if you really care about them. Or if you don't, it's going to be a sad day. We'll be back tomorrow on Wicked Wednesday, so it's mandatory to be back in 23 hours. Till then, see ya!